So overall, I believe the final outcome went quite well. There's obviously a lot of things I could have improved on. The main thing that I will say that I wanted to improve on was first of all the voiceover script. Like it was okay. However, I believe basically Joe done it, but I kind of helped him. I believe I should have done a lot more stats within the voiceover script. So if I just try and find an example, when we're talking about Peter, we included a lot of quotes, so stuff like this. So we asked the following questions of Peter. We included a lot of quotes that were on their website, and I believe, I mean, it helped obviously convey information. It helped get information on the documentary, and but I believe if we include a lot more stats, to say like the only thing that I liked a lot was this bit in a documentary where it showed a live death count. I'm not sure how accurate this is, but yeah, this was one thing I really liked on the documentary. Like as a whole, was a live counter of death counts for animals. So I don't know how accurate it is, but yeah, if we, in my opinion, I should have included a lot more of this. I've only just realised watching a documentary over that this was basically the only source of like statistics that I showed. So I showed a lot of quotes. So I've showed like a website, stuff like that. But yeah, if we included, so there's another quote. If we included a lot more stats of like stuff like this, I think it would have made our documentary a lot more like credible, if that makes sense. So like if we include a lot more stats, it would have brought our point on a lot more, that like meat, loads of animals are dying for meat. Just showing quotes. I mean, it's kind of effective, but it's not really the same as showing a live death count of all the animals. Like this makes you feel a lot worse and a lot more guilty seeing live death count of animals than just a black screen with a quote. And that's one thing I did want to talk about. I spoke about it in my first evaluation. I wish I'd done a little bit more like white text and a black background is a bit boring, but in the future, like I wanted to the main point to be the quote, like, so I didn't want to have any like fancy effects so people would get distracted and just look at the fancy edit. I wanted to just show the one, show the quote, get the quote point across. However, yeah, I think in the future I've got to make it a little bit more entertaining than that, because it's a 12-minute documentary and half of it is just all the text are just black background and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely should have made it a lot more entertaining, even if that just means changing the background. So I did at one point. I should have done this a lot more. So I have a video like stock footage with the quote. I believe that right there makes it a lot more entertaining instead of just a black background. So that's definitely one thing that I need to focus on. And yeah, just definitely showing a lot more stats. I believe that was the worst thing I'd done in this documentary, was not showing facts, and that's my fault. Joe done the voiceover script, and he asked me to look over it. I looked over it, and yeah, after seeing the final outcome, I definitely think stats, showing stats would have been the ideal thing to do, and not just quotes. One thing that I was happy with in the pre-production stage was the research report. This helped a lot. So if I just use, for example, the butchers, this bit here helped a lot in the research report. So I talked about what basically all the information I need for the filming. So when we turned up there, I just showed the guys this this paragraph, and it helped them. One thing that this did lack on was lack of questions. I didn't really identify what questions we asked, which was pretty unorganized, I'll be honest. So on the day, like right away, not on the day, but like a couple hours before, we just had to, okay, we don't have questions for Adam the butcher. What do we ask him? This should have been in the research report. Even if it's just like a brief knowledge of what should be in the research or in the questions. So yeah, I didn't include what I should ask him at all. So, and I didn't do that for any. I should have included questions to ask the people. So for the butchers, let's just say, are you aware of what's going on in the butchers, whatever. Just just a brief first draft of it, so we know something. We don't have to come up on the day. So that's my fault. I should have included questions in the research report, basically for all of this. But I mean, overall, the research report helped a lot in a filming process, because just for example, as well as this location, the butchers would be great for B-roll footage. So we know straight off the bat we get loads of B-roll footage from the butchers, which we done. I used quite a lot of it. So this is him talking, and then in the background there's B-roll, stuff like that. So that helped a lot, knowing that we're gonna show B-roll. So when he's talking, there's B-roll of him, preparing meat, stuff like that. So that helped a
I
lot
appreciate
identifying what B-roll to use. So for example, we just have a clock running there. Yeah, it helped a lot identifying what B-roll to use in the butcher, stuff like that. And then yeah, the research report was basically the thing that helped a lot identifying. However, the one main thing that was good was the planning process. That helped a lot in the final outcome process. So if I use, for example, the recce sheets help. However, the main thing was the story structure sheet. I'm not sure if you can. There you go. So yeah, that helped a lot knowing. Okay, so we have this. So this was when we, you see the questions here. So if we go for where's the butcher interview, we have 3 questions here. Now I should have, as I mentioned, that should be on the research report. Them questions. We had to kind of brainstorm ourselves while making a story structure sheet, like weeks later after the research report. So yeah, definitely next time we'll be hopefully do get the research report as detailed as possible and not save the questions for another task. Overall though, I think the creation, the outcome went quite well. I think I've talked about everything that went bad. The one thing I did like was the where is it? The general public interviews. Now it would have been obviously a lot better if we got more answers. We only got 2 answers. Keane and Joe. Keane stood out there for about an hour or something like that, and yeah, they got 2 answers. I spoke about this in my first evaluation. I hope my plan was in my mind that we'd get 4 or 5 answers, and let's say Keane asked a question, "What are your thoughts on the meat industry?" And I would clip all their answers together. So we go, 1, 2, 1 again, 3, then 4 again, then 1. So it's hard to explain, but yeah, basically in this I just went from first person's answer to the second person's answer, like just like that, like one clip, like one whole clip. Yeah, if we got more answers, which isn't Keane or Joe's fault at all. Like no one wanted to speak to them. So yeah, if we got more answers, that's what I would have done. That's what was in my mind to do was. So as you see, it's just one continuous clip of the person 1 speaking, and then one continuous clip of person 2 speaking. I wish I could clip them together, but there's pretty much no point just doing it with 2 people because it basically just gets their point, like, I don't know, like fabricated. I don't really know the word for it. But if we have like 4 or 5 people saying the same point, to say, let's say I got 5 people and 3 people said the same kind of things and 2 people disagreed or whatever, I could have a continuous clip of them 3 people like saying a sentence. It's hard to explain. Hopefully, you know what I mean. So like the 3 people that had the same point would go, 20 seconds of them, then 20 seconds of the person 2, then 20 seconds of person 3. So it all kind of flowed into one. So all 3 of them are saying the same point. However, I would say we kind of got lucky that the 2 people that did speak to both had different opinions, so it kind of helped show both sides, not include bias. So that went well, to be fair. I don't know if that's just lucky or not. Yeah, we had only 2 people, and both of them had a different point, so that helped a lot in the process. And we'll end it. I like this part here of just the butchers. I think I time lapsed it in a point. Yeah, so it's just a time lapse of the butchers. One thing I will mention is I had to repeat this clip because we didn't have enough footage. I wish we got more footage of the general location, like general location. So this video is perfect. This footage is good. However, I had to use it twice. I think when I the vegetarian interview, I used the same footage. So next time, I definitely need to focus on getting more footage of the general area. So we got a lot of B-roll from the butchers, which is obviously great because that's what we planned. But yeah, I wish we got more footage around the area we interviewed in, stuff like that. So when I had to replay this here, I could have used a different footage here. But overall, I think the creation of the final outcome went pretty well. The audience needs. Now, I tried to get the survey that Keane done, but Keane, I didn't get an answer from Keane. And yeah, so we went on Reddit, went on loads of meat Reddits, stuff like that, and asked some questions about documentary, stuff like that. And I believe we met them quite well. So we asked questions like, do you trust the meat industry, stuff like that. And, we got the majority of the answers. Now, not saying that now, we should have more than likely we should have more than likely used their stats. So say like we asked, I think one of the questions was, do you trust your local butchers? And I think like everyone said yes, so we should have included that on the documentary. Like we asked meat lovers or whatever, stuff like that, do you trust meat industry? And 100% said yes. That would obviously, convey information and strengthen our point. But yeah, for some reason I didn't do that. I completely forgot that we done that. So definitely, the goal is to use the information. Like there was no reason not to use it apart from the fact that I literally forgot, which was terrible on my point. But overall, I think the creation went quite well. I think we met the audience needs in terms of showing information. The only thing that I have a pet peeve about is we didn't show statistics. We showed a lot of loads of quotes, but not like numbers. Not like the only thing we done well, like in terms of stats, is this point with the live death count. We should have if we showed a lot more of this, not like this exactly, but a lot more stats in general, it would have conveyed our point a lot better. But yeah, overall, I think we done quite well.